The president fired up the crowd by drilling down on what's at stake for our country.
Everything we have created and achieved is at stake on Election Day. It is. If the radical Democrats take power, they will take a wrecking ball to our economy. A vote for Republicans is a vote to continue our extraordinary prosperity, our extraordinary journey together. A vote for Democrats is a vote to bring this economic boom crashing to a sudden halt. The Democrat agenda is a socialist nightmare for our country.
Well, if it is a true referendum on Donald Trump, we're in good shape. Just today, 250,000 new jobs, way more than was expected. Record low unemployment for African American and Hispanics. We have the highest number of women in the workforce ever. You've got, extraordinary wage growth for the first time since 2009. I mean, there's so many indicators that show that under Donald Trump, this country's in great shape. 12 records set in the less than 2 years since he's been president in terms of economic movers. So if it's a referendum on him, we're in good shape. Now, here's the problem. Some of the Republicans haven't performed as well as Donald Trump. They failed to repeal Obamacare because the Republicans dropped the ball. They failed to build the wall because Republicans dropped the ball. They failed to disenfranchise and defund Planned Parenthood, not because of Donald Trump, but because of members of Congress who were Republican but didn't have the backbone and the spine to stand with him. So is it a referendum on him? Yeah, I think Dan Henninger is right, but it's also, in some of these districts, a referendum on individual Republicans who failed to stand with this very effective president.
All right, Governor.
Remember that on Wednesday.
They
don't have a message. This is what the Democrats are faced with: an economic boom, GDP, wages, jobs. Foreign policy, almost the destruction of ISIS. It'll take some time. Progress with North Korea. We're seeing progress on trade. We're seeing Supreme Court, 2 justices. We're Keystone. We've forgotten about Keystone. We're rebuilding the military. There's consumer confidence. There's optimism. There's worker productivity. Any one of these singularly as an achievement is something you could run on. The problem with Trump is he's got too many good things. And so all the Dems have is hate. They're the party of hate. And they don't just hate Trump. They hate everybody who supports Trump. And that's what you have to remember when you go to the polls, that they actually despise you. You know, it's kind of sad. And in a weird way, it's a tribute to Trump. He's like a supervillain. And he's bringing out Bloomberg, Obama, Biden, celebrities. They're like the super friends. They have to get together to fight this one guy. He's basically, I don't know, like Lex Luthor, and they're all Robins.
Yeah, what does that say to you about the Democratic Party and the shape it's in right now when they have to bring in so many heavy hitters? A president who just left office just 2 years ago, coming and campaigning this aggressively and this partisanly against his successor. It's not necessarily unseemly, but it's never really happened to this extent before.
I never hear a single positive agenda item that's going to benefit the American people from the Democrats. This is what I hear, that they want to impeach Trump. They want endless investigations. They want to keep Obamacare, which has been a disaster. They want to get rid of ICE, open borders, and they want the crumbs back. They want the tax cuts back that they call crumbs. But they're such crumbs, they want them back. How do Republicans, defeat history in the sense that it's only happened 3 times in the last 100 years? Party gets power in the White House and then wins seats or holds on to power in the midterms?
Well, the same way we won in 16. We get more votes where it matters. I mean, the objective fact is, and I'm going to go out on a limb here. I did this with you in 16. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think election night this year will be worse for liberals than 2016. I think they're a state of shock.
Well, even Democrats, there are a lot of good Democrats in this country, and they love their country, and they're not tax and spenders. They're not far-out liberals. The Democratic Party as a mechanism has been taken over by the far leftists, but that doesn't represent all Democrats, many of whom are good, common-sense people. They see some things a little differently than folks like me, but they don't see it like Andrew Gillum does, and I hope they see this for what it really is.
All right. Former Governor Mike Huckabee always
They've moved on to another planet, and that's the point.
Democratic leaders are now saying things far more extreme than anything a Midwestern Methodist like Hillary Clinton ever would have said or thought. They become openly bigoted, for example, blaming an entire ethnic group for the country's problems. They've called for eliminating our country's borders, the right to self-defense, even the distinction between male and female. They're at war with nature and with common sense. And by the way, they're agitating for an actual war against Russia. They are insane. Some of them are dangerous, and somebody ought to run against them, not against the ghost of some elderly retired nominee from last cycle.
So for the left, the midterm is a lose-lose proposition. If they don't get a big win, they'll be distraught. Remember 2016? A million babies with full diapers flinging poop at each other. But if they win, it's not going to be any fun either because he's still there. And they hate him just like they hate Daddy. And so job numbers soar, optimism improves, and GDP grows, and they hate it. The economy is hotter than Lou Dobbs on spring break. And they're still glum. So my advice, no matter what happens on Tuesday, be nice.
Historically, when a president comes in, usually the other side gets the House and the Senate.
That is true.
So the Democrats are enthusiastically paranoid and nervous because they might have wrote a check that they're behind can't cash. If they get just the House and they keep the Senate, that's still an L.
Yeah. Yeah.
And here's the thing. If they get both, go back to Obama. When Obama lost the House and the Senate, they're like, yeah, we got him. He's done. So what do the people do? We just gave him another 4 years. So either way, the president's going to win on this. Because obstruction, people just hate.
Mr. President, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Laura, have a great show. It's great to see you in Missouri. My final word to everybody is go vote. Go shock the world. Do it again. Just imagine the payoff when you look at the media's face tomorrow. Oh, they'll crack up. That will be worth the price of admission.
Hannity,
have a great night.
Hannity, great show. Thanks so much.